All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Patterson Report. As always, I'm Brandon. He's Ryan, and we're doing a bit of a truncated version tonight, but it's for an extremely good reason. For anybody who is listening from Pennsylvania, more specifically, probably the Central PA area, you're probably familiar with the Bloom Fair. And if there was ever a reason to go, hey, look, man, a little bit jammed up today. I got to go to the Bloom Fair. I was like, buddy, we can cancel the show if you want to. The Bloom Fair takes precedent.
Oh my gosh, man! I wanted to make it back. That's when you know you're a true sports diehard when you leave the Bloomsburg Fair to go do a podcast.
Because the Bloom Fair rocks. If you haven't been, don't eat that day and go. Like I still so vivid. I can still taste it. Like this place would do. It was like a roast beef grilled cheese sandwich. It was like a Texas toast grilled cheese, roast beef in the middle. You kill one of those, walk around for a bit, then you go get yourself one of those bins apple, not an apple pie. What the hell's the word I'm looking for? Apple dumpling. And buddy, you are having yourself one hell of an evening.
Oh man, I had smoked Gouda mac and cheese, but we have to talk about some baseball. I could talk about that smoked Gouda on another show somewhere else. Oh my god.
But yeah, Ryan's having a great day. I'm having a great trip down memory lane. But there are a group of sports fans who are not having a good day, and they're having a bit more of a complicated trip down memory lane, I would say. We're all the way over here on the East Coast, and it's not a local thing. I know this is a Patterson Report, but man, like as a fan, like your heart just goes out to Oakland. Like I couldn't imagine. We're going into Red October, and the Phillies get so much credit for this rabid fan base, and I couldn't imagine waking up one day and realizing you only have a season left of the Philadelphia Phillies, and then that last game come and go. And the scene from Oakland was, it was depressing. Like you see how much baseball means to people, how much that ownership group doesn't understand how much it means to people. It was, from a distance, it's a cool look into how important sports are, but your heart does break for the Braves fans.
I mean, they lost the Raiders, 2-3 years ago at this point as well. So, like, there's no sport. I mean,
don't forget the Warriors.
The Warriors are out there, but didn't they move too?
Yeah, they moved out of Oakland proper.
Of course. So, like, it's just one of those things where, you see videos. I mean, they were the Philadelphia Athletics at one point. So, like,
I'd say bring it back.
It's kind of local spin on. I mean, did you see that? It was a meme. It was someone put the whole discourse. Or we're not going to get into that. But anyway,
somebody dropped the stadium in the sports complex.
Just right there, just right next to CBP, and then room for another parking lot. But anyway, so like you see these videos. I want to shout out I don't know if it was a member of the grounds crew or who it was. He was scooping dirt in every water bottle. Everybody that came up, it was every water bottle. He just didn't walk away. He just kept scooping, just so those fans could have a piece of that stadium because it's a lifelong memory, Like, you go to the ballpark since you were little, and now it's gone. Which, thankfully, we're probably never gonna have to experience that in our lives.
Major market like this.
Major market, and then New York up, and like it's one of those things where it's probably not gonna happen around here. But man, my heart just breaks for these people. I do got to give credit to Jeff Bassan as well. He just he called it like it was. Like how some of people.
So is Buster Olney. Buster Olney's been on
it. You got to be on these people because man, every video just makes me sad except the one where they're lifting up the seats and then what was it? Bob Nightingale's like, but yeah, there's a chase outside the stadium. The guy's carrying seats. And everyone's like, what is going on?
That's pretty awesome. Like the Oakland fans have really showed up in a big way. Have you seen the one? It's picking up some steam because it might have been Buster Olney. I'll have to see who retweeted it, but it came out earlier in the season. It's a guy talking about what the stadium meant for him, and it was kind of neat. It was Scott Van Pelt picked it up, and he was just kind of saying, like, look, my dad didn't know what to do with me as a kid. He was like, he would just bring me here. Like we sit in the nosebleeds and, he would kill 4 hours, just watching baseball with me. And then, some other thing happened to his little brother who was 13 years younger than him. And he's like, dude, my parents told me, like, look, you're in charge of your little brother. Like, figure something out. So I brought him here. And then when I had a kid, the first thing I did, I brought him here. And it's like, it's kind of cool that, like, I mean, it's sad now, but, like, it's cool to see that, like, as much as we love sports and all, like, I mean, I'll admit it, that guy loves sports more than I do. Like, sports is a bigger part of his life than it is mine. And it's kind of cool just to see, like, the void that sports fills for people. And more accurately, the void that taking away the A's is going to leave for a lot of people in Oakland.
I mean, didn't they? This was the season for reverse. What was it? Oh my gosh! It was earlier in the season. I forget what they called it. It was the reverse.
Oh, the reverse.
The reverse boycott, and everybody showed up. Like, this is what happens when you don't spend money on your baseball team. Like, it's evident that Josh Donaldson in the early 2010s, you got Matt Olson here, just recently, like, they don't invest in talent. I mean, they certainly lucked into a couple of good pieces right now, but, like, man, oh man, it's just been mismanagement after mismanagement. I mean, you could log on your local streaming service at this point. I'm calling it local streaming service, but, like, you can watch Moneyball. It just tells you how cheap the A's are. Like,
yeah, it's so bad. And we'll get off the A's and onto the Phils. We're doing a shorter episode tonight. But I think one of the things that was interesting with the reverse sellout you reminded me of, like, if you don't follow baseball closely enough, you would look at the A's and think, well, the fans stopped showing up, the revenue's not coming in, this, that, and the other thing. The fans have always been there. They stopped showing up because ownership made it abundantly clear that they don't give a shit about them, which is why the reverse sellout was cool. It was like, hey, look, we're just reminding you guys, we're here, we're ready to come back. But I mean, I wouldn't spend my hard-earned money on a team who's not invested in winning. I mean, Phillies fans, as great as we are now and how everybody's back, dude, look at that stadium in 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I mean, there's nobody there. Like, it's not that everybody stopped being fans. It's just that, okay, well, I work hard for my money. I'm not going to spend it until you're ready to spend it. As it turns out, John Middleton was right, and he said he would spend stupid money, but clearly there had to be some kind of infrastructure in place. And you look at every season since we've landed Harper, it's been JT, it's been Trey, it's been Wheeler, it's been if he's needed the piece, he's gone out and bought it, but there had to be an infrastructure in place first.
Yeah, and, like, I thought it was really cool when he came into the locker room and said, "I want my trophy back." He didn't say exactly that, but I'm not going to repeat the exact quote on here. But, like, man,
talk about the contrast in ownership.
I mean, really, even within state, you saw what the Pirates just did to Rowdy Tellez. Like,
yeah, dude,
that's pretty scummy. But, like,
what a great way to ensure nobody ever signs with you.
What a great way to Paul Skeens probably looks at that and is like, maybe I don't want to play here, Yeah,
that's another team who they're lucky they're in PA, and they're lucky they have one of the most beautiful ballparks in baseball.
It's really nice.
Because the Pirates don't manage their team much differently than the A's do. They just get away with
it. They get away with it because they have a flashy rookie at this point.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, you look at the way that Middleton's built this team, and I was a lot of people were hard on him. I felt like during those bad years when he kept saying he was going to spend, and we were like, we're waiting. But turns out he was right. As soon as this team showed promise, he started spending in a big way. And dude, just imagine being a player and seeing your owner, like, multi-billionaire, all this stuff, and the trophy mean that much to him. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, it's incredible. Like, he wants that, and I hope we get it this year. I mean, Dodgers are going to be tough, but, like, I don't know what's going to happen with this whole first round thing. I know we're talking about the NL East right now. They're playing that doubleheader on, what was it, Monday or Tuesday, or I forget what day it is. But they're playing a doubleheader, and then they have to go right into a playoff series. That is crazy. Like,
yeah, someone's going to get the jump on either the Mets or the Braves. That first game out of that break is going to be huge for whichever one that ends up with. I think it'd be. I forget how it works out.
I think it's the Padres right now.
Yeah.
But that could change because there's so much moving around. There's so many moving pieces, but
yeah, it's a tough draw for sure.
It's a tough draw, but that's on the stadiums and the teams, and like it's not on Major League Baseball because Major League Baseball just they don't really handle that kind of stuff. It's usually the teams that reschedule.
And I do kind of get it. Like, look, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. I'm also kind of a believer in you had 162 to build a lead, lose a lead, something like that. I mean, the fact that it came down to the last day, you just don't put yourself in that position. Which I know it's easier said than done, but what I'm saying is, if you do all the things that lead to you ending up in that position, I just don't think you have too much of a right to complain. Like, if the Mets didn't completely shit their pants until June, you're not in this spot. The Braves, less their fault, they got hurt.
I'm not blaming the Braves. They lost like their whole team at this point. Like they're just trying to get by. So like, I can't hate on that.
No, they're just hurt. But the Mets, like I'm saying.
Yeah, the Mets could have, I mean, they did strut out Grimace there. They strutted out the mariachi band playing Higher by Creed. Like they pulled out all the stops in the middle of the season to make sure they got to this point. I mean, yeah, that too. But like, man,
but how do we feel? It's a little bit different for the Phils. Typically, we've been able to get hot and run full speed into the postseason and through it. This is the first time this group of guys is going to have about 5 to 6 days without baseball. Is it going to be a problem? Are they going to stay hot? What do you think?
I'm nervous.
Me too.
This is the thing I'm most nervous about. Like,
this team's streaky.
It's just not just them. Like, it wasn't just the Braves the past couple of years. It's every team that gets that bye struggles. We saw it with the Dodgers. The Padres knocked them right out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm nervous, but I'm glad the team gets a little rest. But at the same time, if they come out cold, CBP is going to let them know right away. Like, hey, maybe we should get the bats going here.
And that might be the difference. I mean, look, I'm sure the Braves have a good home field. It's not great, but it's good. Dodgers, I think LA. I don't have a whole lot of respect for LA sports fans. I think it's too transient. I think if you come out that first game, Citizens Bank Park is rocking like it tends to be in the NLDS. We've explained previous podcasts why that dwindles as you get to go through, but the DS is always rocking. I think that'll be a good way to jolt these guys into a rhythm pretty quickly, or snap them out of the funk.
I hope so, man, because you got to get going in October, and then we've seen it time and time again. Like, it's just so hard to pick back up where they left off. Did all 4 teams lose last year? I think they did. I'm trying to think. The Orioles lost for sure. I'm pretty sure the Dodgers lost.
Did they lose? The Dodgers lose round 1?
I think
so. I know Orioles did.
They did. They had to have because they wouldn't have made it to the CS because the Diamondbacks beat them.
You're right.
So they lost. The Braves lost. Was
Orioles lost.
Yeah, the Orioles lost. That's 3 of the 4. I'm trying to think of who the last team was. Was it it wasn't the Yankees. It couldn't have been. No. Probably the Astros, wasn't it?
So at least 3 out of 4 blew it out of the game. But I don't think that's it. I don't know. There's something about this team. I don't think it's going to be them. I think you got guys. Kyle Schwarber's not going to let it. Think of you got Wheeler on the mound, so you really only need probably 3 to win it. I mean, 3 runs gets the job done with him throwing. Hart comes up in big moments. Like, I think you got enough guys who.
It was 3 of the 4.
3 of the 4. You got enough guys who are going to go stop that slide. But
I need a
more immediate.
Lead off Schwarber.
Schwarber early changes everything.
Oh my gosh, it's over. But anyway,
so we're going to do a little bit of. I'm sure you grew up watching this too. It's some of the best parts about the morning after football game. I think it was Monday mornings. It was Chris Berman's The Fastest 3 Minutes, but we're only going to do it for Eagles Saints. So we'll start it at the 15-minute mark, and then by the 18-minute mark, we'll be done with the segment.
I'm down with that.
All right. So I'll pose the question beforehand so we can cheat a little bit. How did you feel about the defense?
Well, I mean, I can't answer that, but I want to shout out Jalen Carter real quick. I don't know if you watched any of the tape from that.
Yeah, phenomenal.
But man, oh man, he's a game wrecker. But like, see, now it's the 15-minute mark, and I could talk, and I could say I was super impressed with the defense. Vic Fangio regained the city's trust, and I'm very happy in what we got here now. I mean, he won a lot of people back. Zach Bond's been quinion's gonna get one. It's coming.
Yeah, Quignon's getting hot for sure. Carter looked great. Jordan Davis, when he's bad, he gets a lot of hate. When he's good, you don't hear enough about him. I thought he was really good. He looked a lot better. Zach Bond's going to be a problem. Nakobe Dean, another guy, easy to hate on, deserves his flowers as well. He's been great in that linebacker spot. On the offensive side of the ball, disjointed against the Saints, and you also lose Devontae Smith. How concerned should we be going into Tampa?
8 out of 10.
Okay.
It's high. I mean, that hit should have never happened. The discourse, did he spit on him? If he spit on him, I'm surprised he's not suspended, but like, that's just not, there's no room for that in football. And, Saquon got it back on the next play because, he's carrying the city on his back right now, it feels like.
Really is.
But yeah, a dirty hit shouldn't have happened. I hate it. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
Yeah. Shout out to Jalen Carter, because a lot of people were telling me, they were like, oh, he did. And they were like, no, I think she show some class, quiet down the sideline. I don't want any of that. Like, this whole team is like so. I'm looking at you, Darius. Like, this whole team is so like soft and respectful. I need a Jalen Carter. I need somebody. I need a lunatic on the defense who's going to get back when they have a dirty hit. I'm probably one of the skinniest guys on the field. So I thought that was awesome for team building. Shout out to Chris Long for thinking the same way. Dude was here for 2 years, and he actually was a lifelong Eagle. It's awesome. With your last minute, break down the wide range of emotions from watching Jalen Hurts play quarterback.
I mean, the tape looks great, and then you're sitting there sifting through it. You hit the next button. He throws the worst interception you've ever seen in your life, and you're like, "Wow." It's up and down. When he's not turning the ball over, he's fantastic. That's all I gotta say. Like, he
turns it over a lot, though.
I know, but like when he does it, like it's really good on the tape. Like it's there, it's all there, and then he just makes some stupid throw that you're like, what just happened? And here you are, the defense back out there.
And that weak side fumble, I hated. Like, you cannot be running away from a defender swinging the ball like that. I was furious watching that. All right, 10 seconds. Nick Sirianni, how'd he do?
Oh my gosh! I mean, he just needs to stay out of some people's business. That's all I'm gonna say.
Leave Kellen Moore alone.
I like to call plays here and then. No, that's not what we like to hear as fans.
Yeah, no more calling plays. That was the fastest 3 minutes and 5 seconds on the Eagles-Saints recap. Thanks for bearing with us on a bit of a truncated version this week, but we will be back to break down Phillies baseball and Eagles. I predict a loss against Tampa. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see.
The injury report's a little too big.
It's a little tough to get through, but
Vita Vea comes back, he's going to cause Saquon some problems. So we'll see about that. Look at that.
Yeah. We'll break all that down next week. But in the meantime, I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. This is the Passing Report. See you next week.